Next on NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.
This is home. I love it. I don't care if I ever live anywhere else. I like to travel, but this is where I want to be and where I want to spend the rest of my life.
How a family operation in Alabama is working to preserve their land. Plus, how you can manage BRD for the best treatment response. And the Beef Checkoff is working to build demand for beef.
And now, NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman with your host, Susie Ross.
Hello, I'm Susie Ross. Thanks for watching Cattleman to Cattleman. Leading our cattle industry news this week, USDA has released its final rule on cattle and beef trade with Canada. The rule will expand trade to include beef from cattle of any age and live cattle up to 8 years of age. Montana rancher Bill Donald is vice chair of the NCBA Policy Division. He says the rule is important for restoring global beef trade.
We're working diligently to get back to where we were as an industry with all our markets, our export markets and our local markets, to pre-BSE levels. We want the trade back where it was before we ever had our first case of BSE. The over 30-month rule is the next logical step to get to that point.
USDA didn't meet all of NCBA's requests on this rule, but Donald says it's important to put the issue behind us.
So it's not a perfect rule, but we think the main goal of it is to deal with Canada in such a way that we can expand trade with our trading partners all across the country.
Donald says trading partners watch our policy carefully when determining if they will accept U.S. beef.
We're asking the Japanese and the Koreans to take our beef, whether it's over 30, under 30, it shouldn't matter because all the product is safe. We have protocol in place that removes all the specified risk material, so the beef is safe. In order for us to make that argument convincingly to them, we have to ensure that we're following the same protocol.
Expanded trade with Canada should affect only the cull cow market, and most experts expect a fairly modest impact. But what does fall have in store for fed cattle and calves? We have more in this week's Market Watch.
Market Watch, brought to you by Pfizer Animal Health.
Joining us is John Maday of Drovers Magazine. Welcome back, John.
Thanks, Susie. It's good to be back.
Always good to have you here. John, as we head into fall, I'd like to get your thoughts on the cattle market. Let's start with fed cattle. What trends are you seeing there?
Well, last time I was here, back in the spring, Susie, we talked a lot about the ethanol production and some of the impacts on the cattle market. And ethanol continues to play a big role. That's one of the big influences in what's going on in the markets today, although there are some other things influencing the prices as well. And of course, corn prices are high, but not as bad as we might expect. And the other big factor really has been the drought over the last couple of years. And last year, we remember there was severe drought in the southern plains area. This year, they've had a lot of rainfall in that region, but drought again in the southeast, and also California has been hit really hard. And the effect of that over the last couple of years has been to really put a halt to any expansion in the cow-calf herds. Mm-hmm. So that means shorter supplies available to the feed yards, and that's helped prices continue to remain strong going into this fall. And we really expect that this will be a good market this fall. Now, just over the last couple of weeks, we've seen some downward pressure on the fed cattle prices. I think last week they lost close to $2 on average. And this week, I think most of the feed yards are expecting that they'll be able to recover some of that as wholesale beef prices have come up a little bit. And we really should see some increases going into the fall and expect to see some prices back up into the upper 90s and even around $100 before the end of this year. And even the prices today, although they've dropped a little bit over the last couple of weeks, they're still about $4 or $5 higher than this time last year.
And for the cow-calf sector, what do you see happening with calf prices?
It's looking like a pretty good fall for the cow-calf producers.
Good.
We really were a few months back again, or looking back a year ago, we would have had a lot of fears of much lower prices by this time. But the projections for the big corn harvest are certainly helping. The fed cattle market has remained strong. Feed yards have remained at least somewhat profitable. And so the calf prices have held up pretty well. The last I saw just from last week, 7-weight calves in some of the Midwest markets were averaging about $119 to $122 hundredweight. The 5 weights at about $127 to $129 per hundredweight. And so the 7 weights, or the heavier cattle, are selling really for about what they did this time last year. The lighter weight calves are down about $4 or $5 from last year's price. And again, that's based on the higher cost of gain that those cattle will take as they go through later production stages. But really, as long as the corn prices remain somewhat stable, or we expect probably some volatility, but as long as they don't go too high, it should be a pretty good fall for the cow-calf producer.
Good. As always, great information. Thanks so much, John.
Well, thank you.
We look forward to having you back again soon.
Great.
For more market insights, please go to our website at cattlemantocattleman.org. Each year, farmers and ranchers from across the country are recognized for their contributions to both the cattle industry and the environment. This week, we visit the Dee River Ranch in west central Alabama to see how this family operation is working to preserve the land they love.
Visit the 10,000-acre Dee River Ranch in west central Alabama, and you'll find a diverse family operation. Annie Dee and her brother Mike work the ranch together with help from Annie's son Seth, her husband Ed, and their crew. Their livelihood depends on the care they give their 650 cows and their 3,500 acres of cropland.
We run a commercial cow-calf operation. We have Brahma Angus cross cattle. We have some purebred Brahmas that we use for seed stock.
We get along great and we complement each other in the things that we do. We're trying to do a great job. We're trying to improve all the time. We try to work with people that'll help us improve.
Dee River Ranch was founded in Florida, but with development pressure there, the family sold the original ranch to the state of Florida as part of the Save the Rivers program. Then they moved to Alabama to create the current operation in 1989.
This is home. I love it. I don't care if I ever live anywhere else. I like to travel, but this is where I want to be and where I want to spend the rest of my life. It's just the neatest place I've ever been.
To have the opportunity to work with my sister, we're committed to each other. We're committed to this land and to the farm, and it's neat to know that when I'm out there working hard, I can turn around and somebody's working just as hard as I am.
Though drought is a problem now, under normal rainfall, the Dee River Ranch is at risk for erosion. So the Dees have taken steps to save the soil and protect water resources. They've worked with NRCS to help improve their grazing management and to install GPS systems for precision agriculture.
As a matter of fact, last year they had the annual Precision Ag Field Day here on Dee Farm. And we brought a lot of folks in to look at what's being done out here with new technology.
The way I like to look at them is they're kind of like point farmers. People point to them for their ideas and what they're doing. And each year we usually have a field day here. Last year we had one that had over 300 people attend. And I think many of these people just wanted to see what Annie and Mike were doing because they are innovative.
Dee River Ranch has been very cooperative in sharing their production techniques and ideas with area ranchers. And the things that are successful here translates to other areas of the county and the state too.
For land the cattle are on, the Dees have added high traffic and heavy use areas to avoid mud and erosion.
We've come back in and put erosion control geotextile fabric, and then we've put large stone to hold that fabric down, and then small stone to make it conducive for cattle to walk across that and make it easier for them. And that's been able to help us move cattle through those high traffic areas and congregation areas.
To protect their most fragile lands, the Dees placed 4,000 acres in the Conservation Reserve Program, planting 600 of those acres to trees.
Traditionally, I'm not a tree hugger, but I think I am a great steward of the land, and I'm trying to protect what we have and protect the land and the water, keep it from eroding away.
NRCS has been able to come in and help us do some things that we know is the right way to manage this land, to give us some guidance and some assistance in doing some things to protect these fragile areas.
Their CRP land has enhanced habitat for wildlife, including white-tailed deer and other species. The Dees are also cooperating with the University of Alabama's Rural Medical Scholars Program, bringing doctors in training to the ranch to gain an understanding of agriculture.
I like to show them the combine and the sprayer and the cattle operation and just give them a feel for things that are going on, so if somebody shows up at their office and they've had an accident, they have a little bit of understanding about how that could happen.
With the stewardship of Annie and Mike D., the land under their care is healthier, their cattle herd is growing, and their effort to make D River Ranch a sustainable operation for the future is on track.
D River Ranch is my life. The crops, the cattle, the land, they're not just a job to us, it's our life. We're not trying to look at how this crop's going to come out. We're going to look at how we can make the next 10 crops, or how we can live here, and how our cattle operation is going to grow. I wake up every morning thinking, thank the Lord that I can get up and go to work.
We want to make sure that the place is better than we got it, and we leave it better than we found it. We know we don't really own this land. We just get to be here for a period of time, and we're interested in the water and the soil, the land. We want to make sure that the next folks have a better opportunity even than we have.
The winner of the National Environmental Stewardship Award will be announced at the Cattle Industry Annual Convention, which is taking place this February in Reno. Learn more on our website at cattlemantocattleman.org. BRD can be a real problem for your herd. Ahead, tips on how to manage the disease to get the best treatment response.
I mean, we have to stay center of the plate's how we phrase it. We need everybody, when they think about dinner, to think about beef.
Plus, we'll hear how your checkoff dollars are working to grow beef demand around the world. But first, here's a look at this week's market summary provided by CattleFax.
More time on the job means more work gets done. And when the job's all about keeping your herd healthy and productive, remember, only BovaShield Gold FP helps provide a full year's fetal protection against BVD persistent infections and IBR abortions. Why risk using anything less? Ask your veterinarian or animal health supplier about BovaShield Gold.
Our quarter pounder with cheese is made from 100% pure USDA beef. That means there's 0% anything else. That's what we're made of.
In your herd, internal and external parasites can cost you valuable weight gain. That's why there's Cydectin from Fort Dodge Animal Health. Cydectin, the purple poron, features a unique purple marker dye, offers weatherproof protection, and locks in long-lasting parasite protection in a convenient application. Cydectin and Cydectin Injectable from Fort Dodge Animal Health, protecting your herd so you can take care of more important things.
Welcome back to Cattleman. BRD, or shipping fever, can be a serious problem on any operation, so it's best to manage the problem to get the best treatment response. Cattleman to Cattleman's Todd McCartney headed to Texas to learn more.
When your cattle are suffering from shipping fever or bovine respiratory disease, time is not your friend. You need to diagnose and treat those calves quick and get them back to work. Today I'm in the Texas Panhandle with Dr. Clint Irwin with the Hansford County Veterinary Hospital in Spearman to discuss the proper treatment and diagnosis of BRD. Clint, I appreciate you coming. We've got some calves to look at. When we talk about diagnosis, we got to know the symptoms. What are they?
Todd, generally the symptoms of BRD include depression. Calves will be off feed and they'll have a fever. It'll progress to a increased respiratory rate. Sometimes they get diarrhea, they get droopy, and they hang off from their herd mates. The trick is identifying these symptoms. Obviously, your veterinarian can help you discuss identifying these cattle. A sharp trained eye is probably the most important thing. We use rectal temperatures to identify these cattle after we pull them, and generally base that temperature on 104 or higher.
Okay. Well, they've got some sorted off. Let's go take a look at them.
All right.
I see how they differ from their herd mates, and that fits with what you're talking about. Now that we've lined out the diagnosis, let's talk about treatment. Mass med versus individual treatment, where do we stand with that?
Mass meds or off-the-truck treatments can be an effective preventative measure. We generally reserve that for high-stress cattle. High-stress cattle are typically long-haul, cell-born cattle, or cattle that we've received in the past and experienced a lot of morbidity and a high death loss.
Then back to treating the individual animal, isn't our first question which antibiotic is best to use?
You bet, Todd. We have a selection of effective antibiotics to choose from. Some are single day or one-time treatments, and some are used multiple days. With a single day treatment, we treat the animal one time, and we generally observe him for 3 or more days for response to treatment. With the multiple day treatment drugs, we treat them once a day for 3 to 5 days. We prefer to use a single dose treatment drug as much as possible because it requires less handling, which decreases stress, decreases labor and time, and also facilities, we don't need as much pen space.
Well then, are some drugs, Clint, bactericidal and others would be bacteriostatic?
Yes, most antibiotics are basically classed as static or cidal. Bacteriostatic drugs require a period of time to kill the pathogen. Bactericidal drugs generally kill the pathogen in 2 or 3 hours.
Well, Clint, you've hit on some key points, and I guess what I'm hearing you say relative to shipping fever is know the symptoms, because we can't afford a delay in treating those calves. Know what type of treatment best fits your management and your situation, and know which drug to use. And with that put together, that can help us minimize what could be a really serious situation with BRD.
Todd, here's one of those 3 heifers that was behind us. The owner pulled, and we're going to treat her for respiratory disease with a single day treatment drug. Due to our facilities and our labor force, we're going to treat her one time and see if we can get her well.
Let's do that, and we'll say back to you, Susie.
You can learn more about treating BRD by heading to our website at cattlemantocattleman.org. Cattlemen are seeing the benefits of increased beef demand. Ahead, we'll take a look at some of the efforts behind that increasing demand.
Out here, you do a job right, then you move on. And when the job is fast treatment of shipping fever, Baytril 100 is how you do it. It's designed specifically for first-line treatment of bovine respiratory disease, for use by or on the order of a licensed veterinarian. Extra label use in food-producing animals is prohibited. Ask your veterinarian for more information. When the job is killing BRD fast, choose Baytril 100. Right the first time.
2 100% pure USDA inspected patties are only the beginning of what make the Big Mac famous, and that's what we're made of.
Purina's wind and rain minerals are research tested and field proven to provide balanced mineral nutrition essential for cattle health, growth, and reproduction. They're highly palatable so cattle consume what they need when they need it. And wind and rain minerals special formulation resists the elements so they won't blow out of the feeder and maintain their palatability even if they've been wet. Wind and rain cattle minerals from Purina Mills, building better cattle.
Welcome back. Cattlemen all across the country have seen the benefits of increased beef demand over the past few years. For a look at some of the reasons behind the increase, we head to reporter Brian Baxter in Texas.
On a crisp Texas morning, the workday's already begun for Jay O'Brien and a team of cowboys, but O'Brien's commitment to the beef industry goes far beyond his ranch. He served as 2006 chairman of the Cattlemen's Beef Board and believes trends in consumer demand are a measure of the Beef Checkoff program's achievements.
They say the 20% increase we've had in beef demand relates to almost $250 a head on every animal we sell. And that's a big difference. It does a lot for every producer just by putting dollars in their pocket.
In fact, O'Brien sees a number of key areas where beef producer checkoff dollars have made a difference.
You have to look at the great work we did on nutrition. We have right now a fantastic lean cookbook that is very successful that we put out with the American Dietetic Association. Now that's a big win. We're getting the word out that we've got this wonderful, naturally nutrient-rich product.
Progress has also been made in delivering new beef products and new cuts, such as the flat iron steak, a result of checkoff-funded research.
The increase in the value of the chuck because of work that we've done through research is $60 per head. That means every animal out here is worth $60 per head more than it was before we did that research. I don't think we can afford not to do research.
Even with this progress, O'Brien says there's more work to be done. That's why the Beef Checkoff has set a goal of increasing beef demand another 10% by the year 2010.
I mean, we have to stay center of the plate's how we phrase it. We need everybody when they think about dinner to think about beef.
From the Texas Panhandle, I'm Brian Baxter reporting.
Next, the results of the 2007 Beef Cook-Off. We'll be right back.
Agriculture is a small portion of the population now, and if we're not working together, we're not going to get anywhere.
As our family, we cannot be in Washington, D.C. all the time, and I just couldn't live without NCBA representing.
They're looking out for our interests. They're there fighting for us every day.
If you got 1 cow or 2 cows or 100 cows, you need to be a member.
I'm a member of the NCBA because a long time ago, 35 years ago, I felt that I needed to know more of what my industry is doing. So I got started at the county level. If you're in the cattle industry, now's the time to join and let your voice be heard loud and clear.
You need NCBA working for you, and NCBA needs you. It's easy to join. Just call, get online, or talk with your state affiliate and sign up today.
Welcome back. It's called the Best of Beef. Earlier this month, the winners of the 27th National Beef Cook-Off were announced. The grand prize winner was Christine Riccitelli of Incline Village, Nevada. She won for her recipe for Nuevo Chipotle beef in butternut squash boats and took home the $50,000 grand prize. Congratulations. The 2007 category winners are Veronica Callahan of Connecticut in the New Dynamic Beef category, Patrice Hurd of Minnesota in the Nuevo Latino Beef competition, Shannon Mitchell and her twin daughters Danielle and Riley of Illinois for their Kids in the Kitchen recipe, and Lisa Huff of Iowa for her work in the Small Plates Big Taste category. Each category winner took home a $10,000 prize. For the winning recipes, head to our website at cattlemantocattleman.org. We're looking at the last days of summer in this week's Legacy Photos. Let's take a look. Please keep sending those photos. To do so, head to cattlemantocattleman.org and don't forget to include the name and location of your farm or ranch. Next week, we'll feature a regional winner of the Environmental Stewardship Award, plus details about an exciting new scholarship for young people interested in becoming large animal vets. And as always, your news and market headlines. Thanks for joining us on NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman. Be sure to tune in next week. A new episode airs every Tuesday night at 8:30 Eastern Time right here on RFD TV.